I believe that history is the most important subject taught in schools, since the institutional mandate has always been to teach history from an elitist perspective. Our nation's children, and probably most of our children, have been miseducated, therefore uneducated, about their respective identities and the identities of others. If you don't learn about your culture's value in history, how do you see yourself? Really see yourself? We are looking at and will be listening to 3 dynamic change agents: the Honorable L. Douglas Wilder, the Honorable Willie L. Brown Jr., and the Honorable David N. Dinkins. Each man went against the strength and misperceptions of Black people and won in cities and a state with mostly white voters. The first question, from 1789 to 1861, 9 of the 15 commanders-in-chief were slave owners. Of the 42 presidents of the United States, only Lincoln and Lyndon Johnson stand up for what they ultimately did on the matter of civil rights for all, end of quote. In that historical context, please describe the basic strategies you implemented to win your respective offices.
San Francisco seemed like an appropriate place to bring into the 20th century on elected politics, particularly since the incumbent mayor at that time, a white guy, was no different in terms of talent than the people I'd been dealing with at the state level. And so I set out to make myself visible everywhere he went. If he went to lunch at Laurie's Deli, I was at Laurie's Deli having lunch as well and having a lot more fun hanging with the people, knowing a lot more about the Giants football team than he ever knew about, and he had no clue that that would be important. And the same with reference to every other place that he ever went. I just outworked him, and that's essentially the foundation, frankly, for the success of African Americans in the world of politics. You outwork them.
I was always critical of everything. I don't like what they're doing at the State House. I don't like what they're doing nationally. I don't like what the newspapers are doing. I'm writing letters to the editor. And so people would say, well, why don't you run? They didn't mean run for office. They mean run out of the way. And they'd never had a member of the state Senate since Reconstruction, that short period. I said, well, I think I'll run for that job, state Senate. I didn't want to run for a job every 2 years. Senate's 4 years. High school friends said, you can't make it. And I said, why? Well, you know why. No, I don't know why. And so I ran and ultimately did get elected. I did tell those friends who said I couldn't make it, I said, well, would you vote for me? Yeah. I said, well, just keep your mouth shut and vote.
I'm really studying this math. I worked all night, went to school, went to the smartest person in the class, of course, was a woman.
Of course.
And I said, did you get the answer number 2? She said, pi over 3. I said, that's what I got. And then as an afterthought, I said, how long did it take you? She said, about 20 minutes. Then I knew. Now, meaning no disrespect, fellas, but I decided I'd go to law school. You don't need to be too smart to be a lawyer.
Mayor Brown, what in your youth prepared you for your achievements and for the disappointments?
Nothing prepared me for the disappointments. Absolutely nothing. I was raised in a very small town in a place called Mineola, Texas. My option for survival, not in the big picture, but in that household, was to do all the things he talked about. Over-prepare, attempt to be smarter, learn everything, do the work that David talked about on the math side, do all of that. And it was drilled into me. And when it wasn't drilled into me, it was beaten into me. I remember getting 13 whippings in one day.
Oh my. I can see that though.
Basically.
Sorry, Willie. President Barack Obama, our 44th president, is the recent manifestation of our legacy, not the beginning of it, as all of you have stated. Please tell us if you think there has been a widespread attempt to project him as a historical rarity in terms of intelligence, education, tenacity, and a man who is committed to his family.
Barack Obama is a happening. He is the real deal. He is what can happen when you consolidate all of your dreams and aspirations and harness them, yet take advantage of every opportunity out there. But he's the first to tell you that he stands on the shoulders of so many people.
There are thousands of Obamas, many of them more gifted than Obama, with the potential to equal, if not exceed, Obama.
It is my belief that when any one of us, Willie and the governor, certainly Obama, when any one of us does well, it helps the rest of us in other disciplines, architects, engineers, lawyers, whatever.
Other clear stereotypes were countered and changed. One is the black family.
With this family in the White House, showing family and family ties, it shows a togetherness. Now, something that we had, unfortunately, today's youth don't have, and that is that we had community support. We had the entire...
You mean when you were growing up?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
We had the entire community. One of the proudest moments, the guys in the barber shop behind my house, and the barber shop was my forum, was my amphitheater, and they would say, let the kid talk. Even though many of them didn't have high school education, let the kid talk. We can learn from him.
The Obama black family sends a message to the non-black world that we really are no different from a family standpoint.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts and your understanding about this very complex world. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. This has been great.